Okay, so Eric, I'm gonna vlog a little bit because I haven't done that in a while. So if I'm talking to myself, then you know why. So I haven't filmed in a really long time, and I am not quite ready to wrap up the May monthly read, so I won't be able to do a reading vlog wrap up for at least another week or two. Uh, based on like what date it is right now, but I definitely wanted to get online and catch up with you all and let you know about all of the failures that I have been having as a booktuber this week and last week. I have had so many DNFs this month, like at least 5. May has been a rough one. I actually just put down Shards of Honor yesterday about halfway through, because if you guys want to go see how I felt about that one, you can click to a link on my Goodreads, which will be listed down below, because I don't know, I had such high hopes for that one, but it was just really not working. So we could talk about that more once we do the May wrap up. But yeah, I just sort of wanted to get online and talk to you guys a little bit about what has been going on with me. And sad to say that aside from doing a million DNFs, not really much. Not really much. I did make it to the library, and I've got 5 books, or 6 altogether, still checked out. I had to renew the Gollum and the Ginny, not because I'm not into the story, I'm into the story, but in my desperation to finish books that are actually on my physical TBR, I kind of put the library books aside. And then when I had another library book that I ended up having to return because I just knew that I wasn't going to read it, I picked up 5 more. And I don't know if I'll actually have time to read those ones either, but you know, the intentions are there. So I wanted to show you guys what they were. So the first one here is How to Stop Time by Matt Haig. Now, I think that this is the same author as the one who wrote The Midnight Library, which I'm pretty sure I have a copy of, but of course I haven't started it yet. Why would I read a book off my physical TBR when I could be taking books out of the library? I don't know. I think it just kind of gives me that same dopamine hit that it does when you buy a book, except that you're not buying the book, and then if you don't read it, you could always send it back, I guess. But I'm going into this book completely blind. I have no idea what it's about, but I think I want to say it's like magical realism. So I'm just guessing that based off the cover, but that's one of the books that I picked up. Second one I picked up is called The Dark Net. This is a horror. It's got that little ghost on the spine there that denotes it as a horror book from the library. So this one is going to be the dark net, the internet that you can get, you know, drugs and body parts and things like that on. So it should be pretty good. I haven't read a horror one in a while. I do have quite a bit of horror on my physical TBR, but again, it was kind of a baby library haul. Then I went ahead, and because I'm reading The Wager by David Grann, I wanted to read another one. This one actually also has a movie tie-in or a book-to-screen adaptation. So I picked up this one too, which is going to be on hopefully my May, potentially June reads. I could always renew this one if I need to, but I definitely want to be reading this one. I'm trying to read a little more nonfiction. I should have The Wager done by the time we do the May wrap up. Another book that I keep seeing everywhere is The Magician King by Lev Grossman. This one is one that I've seen like a million times at Book Outlet, but I just haven't taken the plunge. I haven't bought it from Book Outlet because, again, this was in the adult section of my library, but Goodreads is giving it kind of YA tags, so I don't know if I'm gonna like it. So I figured I'm better off not to spend any money on it and, you know, just try it out from the library, because it was in the fantasy section, but also, like I said, I'm sort of hesitant when it comes to books that have YA tags on them. You know what I'm saying? And the last one that I picked up, which is also magical realism, would be Vox. And this is another one that I just kind of read the inside flap and decided to go into it kind of blind. I'll read you guys what it says. It says, set in a United States in which half the population has been silenced, Vox is the harrowing, unforgettable story of what one woman will do to protect herself and her daughter. On the day the government decrees that women are no longer allowed more than 100 words per day, Dr. Jean McClellan is in denial. This can't happen here, not in America, not to her. This is just the beginning. Soon women are not permitted to hold jobs. Girls are not taught how to read or write. Females no longer have a voice. Before, the average person spoke 16,000 words each day, but now women have only 100 to make themselves heard. For herself, her daughter, and every woman silenced, Jean will reclaim her voice. So yeah, I thought that that was a really interesting premise, and I think it's a book that I would really enjoy. So I don't know precisely at what order I'm going to read these books in, but I am trying to read down my physical TBR despite the fact that I keep acquiring library books. So it's just been that kind of a month. It's been that kind of a week. It's been that kind of like a last 2 weeks. Yeah, and then like this weekend, I'm going to be going down to my contact again, that 2-hour drive, to pick up some more books that I can be listing on eBay, which is what I've been spending a lot of time doing lately. So it's just been really crazy. I haven't really had much to film, much to report about, and I've wasted a lot of time reading books that I ended up DNFing. So that's been taking up a lot of my time lately. You know, and I just really haven't had much else to film. So, and also I didn't want to film too much telling you that I've had all these DNFs, because it's like honestly kind of depressing. I don't have anything nice to report to you guys all about. So the weather's been bad, you know, it's just been like a crazy time. So I figure now's the time to get in one last video at the end of May, and then hopefully by June we will be able to do the May wrap up and have sunnier skies ahead of us. So let's do a vlog, a reading vlog, and hopefully throughout the next week I will have more footage to string together and better things to tell you. So fingers crossed, and yeah, I'll see you soon.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
All right, you guys, so I have just finished The Wager by David Grann, and it was really, really nice to have been able to read a nonfiction, get one more book out of my physical TBR and onto the read and to report to you guys later shelf. And now I'm kind of faced with the what book do I start next scenario. Right? So I still have about 10 days left on this book at the library, with about 200 pages left to go in this. And I don't know, it's like I'm not feeling it. And I'm not feeling it because I keep going to the library. And by going to the library, I'm not reading down my physical TBR. So I've been searching through my stacks, trying to figure out what book I could read from what I already own that's a little bit shorter, that can help me feel a little more accomplished. And I don't know, it's like all the books I have that are on my TBR right now are like these big 300, 400, 500 page chunkers. And that's really not doing it for me now. I want something that I can start today and finish tomorrow. It's like on this shelf over here, these are all like super big books, which I'm not exactly feeling that I want to get started with right now. Plus, honestly, Godkiller and Sunbringer, they're smaller books, but they're part of a series. So I'm not really keen on starting a series right now. I still haven't looked at any Christina Henry, so maybe I could get behind The Lost Boy. This is something potentially, if I look at the page count, it's under 270 pages. So this is something that I could definitely do, because I do love a fairy tale retelling, as you guys know. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if I want to be doing a horror so soon right now. I should probably, if I was responsible, continue on with the Bloodsworn saga before I forget everything that happened with that. And that's just this shelf right here. The other books that I can choose from are on this little rolling cart right here. I've got some good ones that I definitely want to get to. Like this one I've had since 2024, haven't picked up yet. And I still haven't read Night Film, which is hiding here, but that's like a really big one, not one that I'm willing to tackle right now. I have some smaller ones down here as well, but I don't know. I'm just looking for something that's going to be an easy read. Maybe I could finally tackle a Joe Nesbo, or maybe The Housemaid, which I've had for a long time. So that's something I'm going to have to think about. I also have a copy of Tender as the Flesh, which doesn't look like it's too thick, at least not compared to this one. And I definitely wanted to be getting to Uprooted. And also, wasn't this one in one of my anticipated reads for Q2? I don't know. I'm not doing very well, you guys. I'm not doing well. I am in a case of analysis paralysis, and I cannot seem to find a book to read, even given all of this choice. I still have a whole bunch of books here that I haven't read, like this shelf here, this shelf here, this shelf here. Have I read things here? No, nothing on this shelf either, and nothing on this shelf either, although there is this tiny copy of Alice, which maybe I will keep on the short list. And then down here on this very messy table is my big pile of library books, which I just don't want to read. I take them out from the library, and honestly, sometimes I'm like, oh, I have a passing interest, maybe I'll read it. And then, I don't know, I kind of get lost. Not that I lose interest in it, but that there are always these like 300-400 page books, and I don't feel like I can read them really quickly, which is what I'm going for right now. A couple of times I've taken out this book, Asylum, because I just like the pictures inside. But but it's a bit of a bigger book than I really want to tackle right now. So I just kind of left my bookmark way there in the beginning of it, and I put it back to tackle at a later date. The other thing I wanted to show you guys is that I cleaned up this shelf right here in my office and took not all, but like most of the books that were here, because I need the space for like my eBay stock. So what I decided to do with Snow Crash, since I had 2 copies of this book, is this is the collector's edition. So I'm going to be selling this one on eBay. And then I have the soft cover one that I got from my eBay haul from my supplier that I decided I'm going to keep for myself because I can get some resale value on the collector's edition. It's got like a nicer cover and stuff. So the one that I'm going to read, I kept the one that I paid 20 cents for, which really isn't in resellable condition. And this one here, the collector's edition of Snow Crash, I can resell. So I have that one up for sale on eBay right now. And these are some books that I don't know if I've showed you guys or not, but these are all like some leftover ones that used to be on the shelf. I'm trying to work on cleaning up the white shelf over there so I can move everything over and then eventually make room for my eBay stock here. Obviously, I haven't read anything here because, like, why would I? Why would I? So yeah, so I just wanted to show you guys this shelf right here, this shelf right here. Nothing here is read. It's not a good thing. It's not a great thing. So right now I have to sit down. I got to figure out what kind of a mood I'm in and just start a book that I know that I can start reading today and finish tomorrow. Tomorrow's Victoria Day, maximum Tuesday or Wednesday. And I will get to the Gollum and the Genie. The Gollum and the Genie. It is a really good story, but I don't know. I'm not feeling the library book right now because I don't see enough of a dent in my own physical TBR. And this is like the struggle. All right, you guys, I'm just getting some air. I have just finished reading The Gollum and the Genie, and even though I did give this book 4 stars, I'm just glad it's over. I found the book way too long, way too long. It didn't need to be this long, and because of its length, I doubt very much if I'm going to continue with the rest of the series. I do know that it's a duology. I don't know. I need maybe a few years break if I ever decide to come back to the series again. It's kind of hard to explain. I liked it. I like the way it wrapped up. I just think it could have done with 150 pages less and been all the richer for it. So I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna run my errands, I'm gonna go mail my packages before Canada Post goes on strike, probably return the library book, and then I'm going to try and continue with The Scent of Burnt Flowers because that is a physical book on my TBR, and it's just like a really bright but kind of gloomy day. So I don't know, I think that I will feel a lot better if I can start to see the read books on my physical TBR piling higher than the unread books. So that's going to kind of be the project for the next little while. And those 5 other library books that I still have to read, I may end up having to return them unread. It happens sometimes, but I think it's better ultimately than buying new books, because if you just have that itch to scratch and you want to be shopping and you want to be book buying, going to the library is a really great way to sort of service the entire industry, because not only does it not cost you anything, but it increases interest in the books in the library, keeps your library going, keeps the authors getting paid their royalties and everything. And you don't even have to read the books. You could just take them out, satisfy that dopamine kick, and just return them and do it all over again. So yeah, you know, it's a good way to support your library and your wallet and your favorite authors. And if you want to, you could always try a chapter or 2 of the book and see if it's for you. And if it's not for you, then you just return it. So yeah, if you feel like shopping sometimes and you don't want to shop, especially in today's economy, the library is a really good way to scratch that itch. But as it's Victoria Day today, my library's closed, which is probably a good thing because it means that I will go and I will return the Gollum and the Genie, and I will not be able to take out any more books. So let's keep going with the rest of the day and maybe have a snack and see where the rest of the day goes.
A few moments later.
Right, you guys, so I'm sitting outside the library right now, and I'm going to be returning 3 books, actually. So the Gollum and the Genie is going back to the library. Also, How to Stop Time by Matt Haig and The Magician King by Lev Grossman. And the reason that these 2 are going back unread is because at the time I had really good intentions. I thought, absolutely, I'm going to have time, I'm going to read them. In the end, I don't. So I'm going to send them back to the library. I kept the 3 others, Vox and The Lost City of Zed and There was a third one whose name I can't remember. Oh yeah, The Dark Net, that I kept also, because realistically, out of the 5, those 3 were the ones that I was most likely to read. So these are going back to the library, and then I'm going to go home and possibly start some of them. We'll see how I go. I'd like to try and finish the one book from my physical TBR that I started, which is The Scent of Burnt Flowers, and then we'll sort of see how things go for the rest of the week. But yeah, realistically, I was not going to read these ones. Maybe I will one day eventually, but I don't know. This week, I just don't have the time. It's dead. There's no one here. The library's closed. And I rather like it better this way because then there's no temptation. So, for those of you that don't speak French, that's the book return. And that's the return box for anything that is electronic or video games or audiovisual. So our return is going to be here. And we are going to just slip the books in. 2 and 3. And they go right down in there. And that's it. Books are returned and we go about the rest of our day. So here I am with Addison at Rockaberry's. We're gonna have some pie. The weather was such that we needed some retail therapy. So after we get our slice of pie and a milkshake, we will head to the bookstore and see if we can't improve the mood a little. So I have a slice of key lime and Addison has a slice of millefeuille here. Unfortunately, we have to eat our milkshakes with spoons because these paper straws, where are they here, that they gave us at the restaurant are actually not sucking up any of the milkshake, and all we're getting are like gusts of air. Really terrible straws here, but you know, what can you do? That's the law, right? So, yep, we're gonna try our best to enjoy our milkshake and then we'll head to the bookstore.
The next day.
It's 7 a.m. and I am going through some of my eBay stock to price comp and see if the books that I receive in my surprise boxes are worth anything. I did comp these 2. They are, one is a standalone sci-fi space opera and the other one is a first in a series. Since they don't have very good resale value, as in any resale value of these books would be under $10, so it's not really worth my listing considering that I gotta pay 15% in eBay commissions, and very likely they're going to be promoted listings, and I would probably take an offer, any offer that somebody would want to give me on these books. So because there's not really any resale value before I send these ones to the thrift, there is a good chance that I might read them myself because vintage sci-fi. So this is an example of books that I would keep from my eBay hauls for myself without discarding them right away to the thrift store. In here is a box of books that I have already gone through, already price comped. This one maybe would have been listed by other sellers around the $6 mark. So this is an example of something that I would not keep because it just isn't worth my time to list. So anything that's in here will just end up going to the thrift store. And then these are some that I want to price comp. I think the Harry Potter one would probably have a decent resale rate. So since it's in good condition, I'm going to try and resell that one. This one here is a set of cookbooks. Sometimes there could be value. I haven't gotten around to that one yet. I'm going to check it. And then I do have a pile of books here on my desk of some older books that I haven't checked out yet. But definitely these vintage sci-fi ones, potentially they could have some value. So that's what I'm going to be doing this morning because I still have about 4-5 boxes from the last time I did a stock haul for my eBay store, and I'm going to be picking up some more this weekend, another 475 books, so I don't know if I'm going to have the space for them. So it's really important that today, it's Tuesday, I'm staying home today, and it's really important that I get through all of these books so that tomorrow when I leave the house to run my errands and mail my packages, I'm going to be able to drop the books that aren't worth anything at the thrift store. And hopefully, if I can get all that done this morning, I will have time for some more reading in the afternoon, which is my plan. So yeah, I'm just going to get going on that. And, and I guess I'll check in with you guys a bit later.
12 seconds later.
So I just wanted to show you guys an example. I have this copy of Dominion's Reach, book 3 of the Saga of the Unified Worlds. It's in really good shape, but it is book 3 of a series. So when I go here onto eBay and I search up there's 14 results for this particular one, and they're varying in price ranges between $10 and let's say $30 or even more, up to $80 at some point. But yeah, there's like a very, very big range of prices. I'm not so concerned about that. I'm looking right now at completed items. And if I look at the completed items, none of them are selling. Like, I don't see any sales of this title anywhere. So this to me would be an example of a book that would end up at the thrift store because it doesn't pay for me to list. So yeah, that's pretty much my triage process.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
So I was putting all of my books up on eBay this morning and the doorbell rang for one pickup. I went down to answer the door and a book outlet order was waiting outside and they didn't even tell me. I didn't get an email or anything. So I thought we could open this up together. So Book Outlet was having a 15% off sale, which I took advantage of. And I was able to pick up some books that had been on my sort of wish list for a while. So let's see what they are. Okay, so the first one here is The Council of Animals, which is kind of like a magical realism, philosophical type novel, which I think probably is akin to 15 Dogs, which if I'm honest, I actually DNF'd. So hopefully this one will be a little lighter, but yeah, I don't really know anything about it. I'm going into it absolutely blind. So this is one out of the 6 or 7 that I picked up. The next one that I got is A Feather So Black, and this is a first in a series, which I believe is a romantasy, but other than that, I don't know anything about it. Again, it was just something that looked interesting to me. I had just finished reading The Crane Husband, and I was kind of in that bird mentality. So I guess I picked this one up for that reason. I got the very last copy that Book Outlet had of The Hurricane Wars, which I have been dying to read because I have been seeing it all around the bookish community for a really, really long time. They only had one copy in stock. This one, I think, has these, I don't know if it's a special edition because it's a paperback, but it does have the sprayed edges. And I heard some really, really good things about this book, specifically from Willow of Willow Talks Books, who is praising this one every second or third video that she does, pretty much. So this has been on my radar. And like I said, I was super lucky. I got the very last one that they had in stock. So this one is gonna go to the TBR shelf. Couple of smaller books, the first of which is The Butcher of the Forest. And that one is coming in at 155 pages. So if I'm ever looking for a really quick success or a really quick read, this is going to be it. I like to have a little novellas here and there because it just makes me feel very successful. So again, these are things that mostly I'm going into blind, but I have this one, this tiny little fable type story as well. Also, because I really love Piranesi, although I didn't have a great time, if you guys will remember, with The Wooded Midwinter, I did want to pick up a copy of The Ladies of Grace Adieu, which is also by Susanna Clarke. I have a copy of Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, which is about this thick compared to how thin this one is. So I don't know if I'm ready quite yet to tackle Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, but this one is, I want to say it's a collection of short stories. I think so. So yeah, much easier to tackle than Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. I do have quite a few short story collections on my roster right now, which I haven't really had a chance to get to yet, but I definitely like Clarke's writing. So with the exception of The Wood at Midwinter, which I still maintain is a waste of everybody's time, I do definitely want to read this one. And then the last two books that I got in this baby book haul are The House at Watch Hill and The Sky on Fire, both of which are fantasies, and they're supposed to be adult fantasies. I don't really know much about them. Now, I've never read Jennifer Lyons before, but I have seen the name floating around, so I'm excited to read this one because I believe it is a standalone. I looked it up. It doesn't seem to be part of any kind of series, and of course, there is this gorgeous dragon on the cover. And then this one here is actually the start of a series, which I think I'm kind of trending towards lately. I'm trying out a whole bunch of series. I'm trying out a whole bunch of firsts in series, and I guess, you know, I'll see where I plan to continue from there. But other than that, I don't know anything about most of the books that I picked up here, aside from the fact that I've seen them around and some of them have sparked my interest at one point or another. So I think we're going to leave the video here, everyone. I want to thank you guys so much if you've come to hang out with me today. If you want to like the video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up or subscribe if you think you might like to hang out with me again. This video was a bit choppy. It kind of was a real reflection as to the last couple of weeks in my life, but hopefully the next video will be our May reading wrap up, and we'll have like more exciting things to talk about. Actually, one of the things that I'm going to be talking about probably in the May reading wrap up is the Shards of Honor, the Bejeweled book that I DNF'd, because I actually just finished watching earlier today, maybe about a half an hour ago, Angela of the Literature Science Alliance, who runs a YouTube channel that I have been following for the last 5 years. And she is like a huge fan of Bejeweled, and we're going to talk more about that in the next video when I do the wrap up and how our opinions are differing on the topic. So that should be fun. So again, thank you guys all so much for coming to hang out with me today, and I'll see you again in the next video. Ciao for now.